Carvajal, خطيرة يا رونالدو يا رونالدو and he's fed Mbappe headline hat-trick he strikes the stage like the world star he is
Schlecht, Schieber, Reus in die Mitte, wir machen rein, Tor, 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 Tor! Champions! I mean, people, everybody that's watching on replay, where do you rank this Champions League round in the history of Champions Leagues? Because what we have seen in the past week with these quarterfinal games, the only one that can really come up to my mind that's really comparable is the 18-19 Champions League semifinals, because those were just all-timers for the comebacks and everything around it. But, wow, we have got some storylines, people, and we have some brilliant, brilliant games to recap. We're going to talk about Dortmund and PSG coming back on Tuesday, and then Real Madrid do Hala Madrid, and they always do it. They beat Man City on penalties, and Bayern Munich somehow, some way, are in a UCL semi-final. After all the shit that we have given to Tuchel all season, and you all know it, I have not been his biggest fan all season. I said he would have been sacked at the beginning of the season. He's going to leave, but he might leave with a Champions League. But if you're watching a replay, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and also if you're watching right now live in the chat, get your thoughts as we go through each game, and then we're going to talk about the semifinal games, and then that is going to be a wrap for the stream. And the like count, the target is 100 likes. Come on, we can get to that easily, people. We can get to that easily. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to Andy. How you doing? Big up to 80. Big up to Cameron. Big up to Luis. Big up to 10 Dime. Thank you very much, 10 Dime. Guys, 10 Dime is a wizard. He's a wizard. I saw his tweet. He tweeted last June 2023, the final at Wembley would be Dortmund, Real Madrid. You, sir, are crazy. I can legit do it. You can legit do it. It's only 2 games left. That's it. That would be scary. Thank you very much for your kind super chat, bro. Thank you very much for your kind super chat. Yeah, look, it's on. Dortmund, Real Madrid is up. But we'll talk about the semifinals at the end of the stream. Big up to 80. Big up to Laith. How you doing? Big up to Dexter. Big up to Cameron. Big up to Aaron as well. And big up to Luis. Well, everybody, let's get through the games and talk about every single matchup, because this game especially, this game right here, shout out to Borussia Dortmund, who I said would win it and go to the semifinals. Borussia Dortmund, they are seriously such a weird team. They might be bipolar FC. I have no clue. When you watch them in the Bundesliga, they don't look convincing at all. They look like just a bunch of headless chickens. But in the Champions League this season, they have raised their level. They have definitely raised their level. Shout out to Philip. Shout out to Ex-Mari. Big up to Darius. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Borussia Dortmund are such a weird team. And what they did on Tuesday, everybody clapping emojis. Clapping emojis for Borussia Dortmund. Because when we talk about this game, and we immediately look at the lineup, Thank God Terzic took out Felix and Mecha and said, "Yeah, we're not experimenting with that anymore. That was the wrong antidote." He brought in Julian Brandt, and Julian Brandt in that game on Tuesday was phenomenal. He was everywhere on the field, linking up play, and you saw every time Borussia Dortmund won the counterattack, it was because of Julian Brandt. It was because of him. He was starting the counterattacks, able to beat Koke in the midfield. Brilliant from Julian Brandt. Adeyemi, I don't think. Look, Adeyemi was just a headless chicken out there. If I'm going to be honest, he was the worst player on the field. He was the worst player. But you got to give it to Borussia Dortmund. We saw in the first 5 minutes of the game, Sabitzer had a goal that he should have scored, cleared off the line. And then Morata, Alvaro Morata. Guess what, people? Remember when he was on a hot streak? People? Oh, yeah, look, this is the real Morata. Oh, my God, this is what we've been waiting for. September, October. He has 3 goals in 2024. 3. Tres. That's it for Morata. And I knew it. You cannot bet on Morata keeping up that form. And that chance he had in the first 5 minutes, if he scores it, who knows? That could deflate the crowd. That could deflate Borussia Dortmund. And Atleti then want to have a 2-goal lead. Instead, you don't take your chance. And then Dortmund sort of grew into the game more. And then I thought they were unbelievable in that first half. Really, Borussia Dortmund, the football they were playing, it just seemed like everybody just raised their level to what we have seen in the Bundesliga, where they're struggling. Like, legitimately, they are struggling against most opponents. That's why I can't understand them, but I love it. Because they have that sort of ability of just raising the level. Clearly, there is talent on this team. There's no doubt about it. But they don't show it on a consistent basis. And yes, you can blame Terzic, but also the players. The players are not performing. And then Julian Brandt. That Mats Hummels assist. Name me another center back that can do that assist. Name me another center back, please. Please. I will wait. Because that assist outside of the boot was ridiculous. Absolute filth for Mats Hummels into Julian Brandt. Oblak, yeah, that can't go. That cannot go in, buddy. That was horrific goalkeeping from Jan Oblak. He turned into Jan Karius right there. And then the second goal, beautiful play from Jadon Sancho and Sabitzer. And then Ian Matson. I did tweet this out. Ian Matson, his stocks have risen to probably the highest of any player since January. Ian Matson has been amazing. Dortmund need to get that contract signed ASAP. We don't want to see Ben Sabani. We don't want to see Wolf. We don't want to see Reisson at the left back. Please pay the money for Matson and keep him at Borussia Dortmund. Don't let him go back to West London. Don't. His career will be ruined. We already know it. Bring him to Borussia Dortmund on a permanent basis, because this Ian Matson kid. See, I'm thinking for the Netherlands in the Euros. You got Ian Matson on the left side and Frimpong on the right side. Ronald Koeman. Well, I'm going to talk about more when I do the preview for Netherlands and everything about that. But he gets the second goal of the game. But then, El Cholo did some good substitute. He brought on Barrios, he brought on Correa and Riquelme at halftime. Please, somebody in the chat, and if anybody's going to criticize Diego Simeone this season, he is playing Azpilicueta at left wing back. In the year 2024. 2016? Okay, cool. Prime Azpilicueta. Amazing fullback. 2024. That's like using a Nokia in 2024. Do you see anybody using a Nokia? No, you don't. That's the same thing for Azpilicueta. Great career, not right now. And that was the issue. He had to play him there. But the subs did definitely work. Obviously, Mats Hummels got the own goal. Then Correa got the goal, even though Correa should have scored like 2-3 minutes earlier when he was through on goal. Atleti had the chances in this game to kill it off. They definitely had the chances. So, it was such a weird game from Atleti. They took the lead. Then Correa gives them the lead in the tie. And then all of a sudden, Füllkrug said, I'm going to show you a Didier Drogba-esque header. That header from Niklas Füllkrug, was one of the best headers I've seen in the last couple of years. That was to get that sort of the power and the accuracy to hit it off the post and in. So, unreal from Fulkrug. And yes, he could be a good super sub for Germany at the Euros. I think Havertz will start. Fulkrug, good option off the bench. We saw it at the World Cup. What did he do against Spain? Off the bench and scored. So great from Fulkrug. And then Sabitzer a couple moments later. It's funny. Dortmund scored 2 goals in the first half. I think it was 5 minutes apart. And then 2 goals in the second half, 3 minutes apart. That just shows you they're such a moments team. When they have the momentum, they use it. They use it to their advantage. And they used it to their advantage and got the 4-2 win. Atleti didn't really create a lot after the goal that Sabitzer scored. And somehow, some way, Borussia Dortmund are in the Champions League semifinals. And yes, I'm pretty sure most of you put a 1 in the chat or put a 2 if you didn't, had Dortmund finishing last in the group of death. Put a 1 if you did. It's okay. We can all admit it's all right. I won't get the lie detector test out on you people. Don't worry. It's okay. This is a safe place. I had them finishing last in that group, but they surprised me because they actually looked in the group stage, especially away from home, a confident team. They can defend and get the goals. And in the knockout stage, yeah, they faced some adversity against PSV at home and also Atleti away in that first half. But hey, Borussia Dortmund are in a UCL semifinal. And if Terzic somehow wins a Champions League, is this greater than Di Matteo winning the Champions League? I'm being deadly honest because Terzic, this guy tactically doesn't know. He doesn't. But the players, they're experienced and they're led by Mats Hummels. They're led by Emre Can and they're led by Julian Brandt. Those 3 guys are so vital. And with Sabitzer having one of his best games of his career, I have not seen Sabitzer play that well since RB Leipzig. That was a great game from Sabitzer. And wow, what a game for Borussia Dortmund. For Atleti, I think that's just been their conundrum all season. They're not a good away team. We saw that at the San Siro. They should have lost that game 3-4-0. That tie should have been over at the San Siro. It should have. They kept it at least 1-0. They got back into the tie at home, and they beat Inter on penalties. See, if this was the reverse and Atleti were at home in the second leg, I'm telling you, Atleti would have gone through. They would have used the crowd to their momentum. But unfortunately, Dortmund got the home legs in the second match, and they took it to their advantage. I can't really blame Diego Simeone. I think his players let him down. Correa, Morata, and look at the center backs he has to do. We have went from Godin and Miranda to freaking Axel Witsel, Hermoso, and Jimenez. So that's the key issue that Diego Simeone and Atleti have to deal with in the summer. Get a better striker than Morata. I am not trusting him anymore. And get some center backs. They got the midfield. It's just about getting the center backs for Diego Simeone. But Dortmund, we all owe you a massive apology. And now they will go up against the next team that we're going to talk about. But big up to everybody in the chat. Remember to hit the like button on your way in. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Shout out to Ian Screamed when I watched the highlights. Big up G. Remember, guys, to go subscribe to GTV Football channel. Big up to 80 as well. Go subscribe to 8744. Yeah, Matza, man. What a player. Needs to play. I reckon Matza would like to stay. I think so too. He was playing center back. No, he was fit. I don't know why. I think Diego Simeone just went with the experience of Azpilicueta in these pressure moments. I think that's what happened here. Yeah, it was a great header, Dexter. Oh man, what's a header? Big up to people. Says even he, a Dortmund fan, didn't expect to get out of the group of death. He didn't expect it. Wow. I'll take Dortmund and Real Madrid in the semifinals as a win for me, even if one of them. You know what, Tendime? You should. For saying Dortmund in the Champions League final, you're already ludicrous, but you deserve massive credit. You deserve it. Considering Royce's contract is running up, him winning the champ. Oh my God. So YG, we're going to speak this narrative into existence, huh? Marco Reus, possibly his last season at Borussia Dortmund, wins the Champions League. We will be there. We will be there. And there is no player that deserves more a major honor than Marco Reus. No doubt about it. Atleti should have won the first leg. Yep, agreed. This is the problem, AD. They had a great first half. Dortmund then grew into the game in the second half, got the goal, and if we're honest, Dortmund should have equalized that game at the Wanda Metropolitano. They should have, but that's what happens. Ay, ay, ay. Brandon. Oh, Brandon. All right, people. Now let's get to the next game. And Barca fans, look away. Look away, Barca fans. Because it was not a good night. It was not a good night for Barcelona. It started so promising well. Yamal adopting people at 16 years old. I didn't even know you could do that at 16. But we found out Lamine Yamal can. Oh, he could. Gets the assist to Rafinha. Now, before we get more into the game, the lineups. Obviously, Luis Enrique learned from his mistakes. He did not play Asensio at the striker role, which was stupid. And he trusted in the front three of Dembele, Mbappe, and Bradley Barcola. And shout out to Bradley Barcola. He didn't look the greatest at the beginning for PSG, but since he's a young player, you just got to give him time. But he's looking elegant with the ball. When he's driving at pace and dribbling, he looks dangerous. Barcola. He looks like a really dangerous player. Just got to give him time. Let him develop more as a player, and he might turn into a good player. And Vitinha, if this guy didn't play DM, he would get more plaudits. He's not a DM. He's not. Put him in a cam or the 8, Vitinha would cook more. He would cook more. See, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe he should start for Portugal, but we'll talk about that in the Portugal preview for the Euros. And for Barca, no real changes either, other than Pedri coming into the starting lineup. But Barca took the lead. Rafinha, great play from Yamal. He just absolutely adopted Nuno Mendes, who I say is one of the best left backs in the world, adopting him. And then it gets to the moment of Araujo. And I said it on the watch along. I think it's a red card. I know some Barca fans are upset. Oh my God, he went down too lightly. Barcola, get up. This sort of nonsense. Look, Barcola did go down a little bit too easily, but Araujo cannot be making that challenge. Just let him go through on goal. Just do it. All he had to do is, all right, Barcola, let's see how clinical of a finisher you are, and we'll see what happens. He made the mistake, got the red card, and Araujo ruined the game for Barcelona. If this was 11v11 and people drop a 1 or a 2, if this was 11v11 for the entire game, put a 1 if you think Barca goes through, or do you think put a 2 if you think PSG would have still done the comeback and beat Barcelona? Because I think that it completely changed the game. Barca were in control. Yes, a little bit PSG were growing into the game more before the red card, but they were not looking threatening. As soon as Araujo got that red card, everything changed. Everything changed. And yeah, okay, in hindsight, you could say, why did he take Yamal off? He should have taken off Lewandowski. Oh my God, should have taken off Lewandowski. Yamal, he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't. He's going to have plenty of opportunities in these high-pressure moments. Let the experienced players try and see this out. They couldn't. And then when Ousmane Dembele strikes again, Ousmane Dembele is such a funny player, man. I will never forgive him for that for that World Cup final. I will never forgive him for that, because that was one of the worst performances a player has ever had in football history. Do not care. But clearly he was motivated to prove a lot of Barcelona people wrong, and he did it because he got 2 goals in this tie. Good finish from him. Barcola, good cross into the box, falls to the feet of Dembele, and it's 1-1. And then he just thought in the second half, okay, Barca, don't get too emotional. Just control the game, see it out, and try and get to penalties. That was the only way. Just try and get to penalties. That was the only way Barcelona were going to win this tie. They couldn't. And I think a lot of people got to give credit to PSG, because we have dubbed them the bottlers. They always are going to F it up. Every time in the Champions League when it gets to a pressure moment, PSG, we know what they're going to do. They're going to lose. They showed some experience, people. They showed some calmness. They showed a togetherness. And that's one thing we have not said about PSG since the Qataris have taken over. It's funny. As soon as the superstar sort of motto of this team is gone, they look like a team. And they played like a team. And they got back into this because Vitinha scored an absolute golazo. Golazo from Vitinha. And then Xavi. See, Xavi has done, I think, a really good job with Barcelona. People can say what they want about Xavi and his managerial career so far. Xavi won them a La Liga when they are financially capped. So he deserves a lot of credit for it. But I feel like he was just a little bit too emotional on the night. He knew it was a big day for Barca, trying to get back to a UCL semifinal for the first time since 2019. Shout out 4-0. Shout out corner ticking quickly. But he got a little bit too emotional, let out his frustration on the board, and he thought it was just, I don't know. He thought it was like ground and pound in the UFC. That's what he thought. Got the red card, and I think that just completely deflated the whole Barcelona team and the crowd and everything about it. You have to show an example if you're the manager. If I'm looking at the sideline and I'm seeing my manager just looking like a clueless sort of drunk dude, that's basically how Xavi was acting. It's going to affect the players and their mindset. And then guess what happens 2 minutes later? Cancelo with the stupid... Dembele is literally driving with the ball away from the box. And Cancelo thought to himself, yeah, let me try and make a challenge here. Now, stupidity from Cancelo really is stupidity, loses his head. And Mbappe, who, let's be honest, people, Mbappe for those first 3 halves of football against Barca was quiet. He was not effective in the game, not really interested, it looked like at times, but he got the goal, and then he got the crucial last goal. Barca had some chances, Gundogan hitting the post, but it's always going to be difficult for Barca to sort of generate any meaningful attacks when they're down to 10 men, and they just collapsed. They collapsed. They had their own remontada. This was a Barcelona remontada, and PSG were the guys that delivered it to them, and Paris Saint-Germain are back in the UCL semifinal. Also, you got to say, Luis Enrique, good job. You learned from your mistakes in the first leg, and your team took the game to Barca, and you forced them into mistakes and forced them to lose their heads. So PSG deserve a lot of credit. And is Mbappe really going to leave Paris with the Champions League? Is he going to deliver Paris Saint-Germain and this Qatari project their first ever Champions League? That would be some storyline, though. That would be some storyline. But I said this during the stream. PSG will not keep any clean sheets. They will not. They will not keep a clean sheet against Dortmund in those 2 games. And if they advance to the final, they're not keeping a clean sheet. Their defense is not good. They were lucky that they were against 10 men, and basically Barca had no pace in the attack, so they couldn't really generate good counterattacking opportunities. But PSG's defense is weak. But their attack and their midfield is good. And they have players off the bench. We didn't even see Gonzalo Ramos. I think Colomboani came onto the field later into the game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Colomboani came onto the field in the 88th minute. So the 2 strikers that cost 180 million played next to nothing. Next to nothing. But yeah, Barca, it's a bit of a shame for them because they've been playing well since Xavi's announcement that he was going to leave. They've been looking good defensively, but they collapsed. They got too emotional and collapsed. In these Champions League nights, people, you got to have a strong mentality and just a forward look. You cannot get distracted by the outside. But unfortunately for Barcelona fans and the Barca players, they got too distracted. They didn't. And the emotions got the better of them, and they are out of the Champions League, and Xavi's time with Barca is pretty much done. They got their guaranteed Champions League for next season, and who the heck is going to be the next manager? Who knows? But the one thing he's got to do with these players, and I think especially Araujo is one of the best center-backs in the world, in my opinion. He has to have a calm head. You cannot get a red card in that situation. You can't. As the best defender on the team, cannot happen. And yeah, Barca are out. And what do we think of PSG now, people? They're actually going to do this. All right. After all the years of clowning PSG, they're never going to win a Champions League under Qataris. Just give it up. You can sign all the players you want. You can sign the Messis, the Neymars. The first season, they go with more of good signings that can actually build a team. Looking good. Dembele, Barcola, linking up with Mbappe. It's going to be fascinating. We'll talk more about the semifinal matchup later on in the stream. But big up to everybody in the chat. We got 35 of you watching. How many likes are we on? Are we 23? You guys are crumbling like Barcelona. Crumbling like Barcelona. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Araujo did the same thing against Madrid, yep, they did, Zaire. They did. As I said, after they conceded the goal, it was like a couple minutes before the red card. PSG were starting to play well. They were starting to play well for taking advantage of that. Yep, got to give credit to Barcola, man. I thought Barcola was really good. PSG should have won the first leg too. Donnarumma cost them. Agreed. I would say that as well. Mike Mbappe might actually win it all. What better way to leave them beating Madrid in the UCL? Oh my God. We'll talk about the semifinals, but it's getting interesting. How are we gonna let Rafinha score 3 goals? How if you're Barcelona, you're gonna allow Rafinha to score 3 goals and actually look Brazilian, drinking the caipirinha and lose? How? Rafinha must be thinking to himself, man, I haven't been that great with Barca. I actually turn up and we lose. Gotta feel for him. Johnson is saying PSG trouble. Well, they already got Ligue 1 and Coupe de France there, I think, against Lyon in the final. Hey, Lyon are playing well, though. To be honest, when Karabakh qualified for UCL, shout out Karabakh. Dembus is a hater, man. Hey, you know what? Respect the hate, Samasi. Dark Horse has been the perfect time for PSG. Yeah, look, no expectations. Just kind of, we're just doing our thing. We're just doing our thing. We're just doing our thing. And then all of a sudden, we're here, people. Four teams to go. Now, if it had been 11v11, Barca would have won that game 3 or 4-1. Possibly. Had Barca not been down to 10 men, the score could have been very different. Who knows? We will never know. We will never know. Barcola and Dembele have a lot of pace, but aren't great with finishing. Well, we know that with Dembele, especially. We know that, especially with Dembele. Xavi shouldn't have revealed that he was leaving the club too early. It's a bit easy to say that in hindsight, Spy. Same thing for Klopp at Liverpool. Imagine Rafa Marquez. That's such a rookie mistake from him. I think you were talking about Raúl. Mike, who replaces Mbappe after he leaves? Who knows? They're going to sign. I think they're going to sign Osimhen. I think that's what they're going to do. They might, man. They might, yeah. Without that red card. Well, you never know, Bismarck. You never know. Man City will win league and FA Cup. We will find out. You are performing like stop being even a little funny 2 years ago. Okay, Matt. All right. Okay. I did already give credit to Barcola. PSG narrowly escaped the group of death and capitalize on Barca collapse. Man, you got to see... It's so easy to just say, oh, yeah, they were against 10 men. Still got to do something. You still have to perform and actually create genuine chances and score the goals. And PSG did it. So give them credit, people. Everybody, as soon as PSG lose, want to dunk on them and say, oh, look, it's the same old PSG. They're always going to fumble it, always going to fumble it. Now when they win, everybody says, oh, it's 10 men, 10 men. Give them credit, people. They actually showed up for once and actually did it away, which usually they never do. They never do this. Big up Mike. Big up Mike Tarmizi. Kudos to Olgar, Marquinhos, and Rudiger. We're going to talk about Antonio, man. We're going to talk about Antonio. Could be, yeah, Ian. With the way both defenses are going, I would not be shocked about it. All right, people. Let's now get to yesterday's games. Oh, Arsenal. Oh, Arsenal. And we haven't even hit 30 likes. Remember to hit the like button, people. Which, as I said, we're hitting 50 likes during the stream. So you're going to hit the like button and share the stream with all your beautiful people. Share it to Arsenal fans. Share it to all the Premier League fans. Share it to all of them. Because the Premier League took a massive L this week. Took a massive, massive L as Arsenal are out of the Champions League. Somehow, Tuchel is in a Champions League. This is the beauty of football, people. You never know. You cannot predict this. If you told me back in January and February, yeah, Tuchel and Bayern are going to be Champions League semifinal, I would have said, are you smoking the Snoop Dogg blunt? Because I'll have some too. Maybe it will give me have some crazy thoughts as well. Because Bayern, when you watch them, Bayern in the Bundesliga, they don't care. They could care less. They're like a person who's at a job and knowing that they're going to be fired at the end of the month. That's basically how Bayern are acting in the Bundesliga. They're 2-0 up against Heidenheim, losing 3-2. They're struggling at times with FC Köln, even though FC Köln did create some chances. But in the Champions League, you can just tell the players are motivated. The players are motivated to prove people wrong. Not really to Tuchel. Come on, let's be honest here. From the outside looking in, and we don't know what it is in the changing room, I don't think the players and the manager go well with each other. They don't. But on the field, when the Champions League anthem hits, these players showed up. Like Konrad Laimer, like Goretzka, Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer. Are we going to say right here? Because Dyer was pretty good for both legs. Okay, at times on the ball, Dyer looks he looks like a fish out of water. But defensively, got to give him credit. Dyer was pretty good in both legs. He was. It's just because Konrad Laimer and Goretzka in the Bundesliga look so average. They look average, but they're motivated. And they proved people wrong last night. The first half was a bit cagey. I don't think either team really wanted to take any risks. You know, Arsenal were not playing that crazy high line. Bayern were being a little bit more defensive. Combination play wasn't good. Leroy Sané, I thought, was really good. He was cooking Tomiyasu at times. Leroy was cooking at times against Tomiyasu. You know, Bayern had some half chances. You know, Musiala, edge of the box. Nothing really dangerous. You know, Arsenal created a really good chance with Martinelli. Erdegaard with a beautiful cross into there. But both teams were a bit, you know, average, let's say. Really average. I think the moment got to them and they just knew we cannot lose. We cannot take any risks and we're just going to play it safe. The second half, then Bayern showed up. Bayern Munich showed up. And then they finally played a good game. Bayern played really well in that second half. Kimmich to Goretzka to Laimer to Leroy Sané. If we're going to be honest, Musiala and Kane were pretty quiet, I thought, throughout the game. And then the other guys just stepped up. And Guerrero's cross into Kimmich was amazing. Yeah, you can blame Martinelli, but the header was great from Kimmich. Where are the two center backs? Why doesn't Raya come and collect the ball? I think that's more of a case for you got to look at those three players instead of Martinelli. And that was the only goal of the game. Guess how many shots on target Arsenal had in that second half, people? Guess how many times? Arsenal had 0 shots on target in that second half. 0. Do you know how pathetic that is? In a must-win game, when your season is on the line in the Champions League, you put up a donut in the second half of a must-win Champions League game. I think that's pretty pathetic. I've rated Arsenal's people. You know, I'm not gonna be this guy like, oh, Arsenal hold that hate along and those sort of stuff. I've picked up Arsenal all season. They've been really good. They played some fantastic football. That second half yesterday, I think was a bit cowardice. If I'm gonna be honest, a lot of their players were pretty average. And you're going up against a Bayern team. Let's not kid ourselves. This Bayern team, and we all know it in the chat, Samasi, 80, they know when watching the Bundesliga, Bayern are not a good team. They're not. But they made Arsenal look like a terrible team last night in the second half. So I'm not going to really blame it on Arteta, if I'm going to be honest. Who do you blame more, people in the chat? Do you blame more Arteta or the players, or you realize, okay, maybe some of these players are just not of that quality? I'm not even going to go to Arsenal fans saying, oh my God, this player's world-class, this player's world-class. Because, you know, some fan bases are going to hype up their players. Every fan base does it. It's tribalistic behavior. I'm not going to do that. But clearly, you look at the front three for Arsenal and you say, can those guys win you a Champions League? They can maybe win you a Premier League because they really work well in a system. In the Champions League, you need the individuals. Bayern have it with Leroy Sané, Jamal Musiala, Harry Kane. They have those three guys who can be individual difference makers in the game. Arsenal don't have them. They don't. I'm sorry. Saka could become that. He's not it right now. Saka is 21 years old. Everybody has this expectation that right now he should be this world-class Robin-esque player who's beating player after player after player, then cutting into the midfield and scoring a golazo. That's not Saka. Just let him develop. Let him develop. Kai Havertz, we know Kai Havertz is a decent player. Decent player. And Martinelli, I actually thought was the most effective of the front three last night. And he got subbed off. How do you think Martinelli feels? Maybe he wasn't fit for the entire game. But if you're Arsenal, I think it's a pretty disappointing way to go out. It's really disappointing. The only player who looked like he wants to win the game and showed some fight at least was Erdegaard, the captain. He was the only one who showed some desire. All of the other players were just like, yeah, we kind of accept defeat here. Let's just go. Let's just move on. Let's just move on. How fucking Heidenheim scored 3 goals against Bayern. Yeah, look, it's a different Bayern team in the Heidenheim game. They had Kimmich and Upamecano starting. Come on, man. You gotta at least go out fighting. Throw an uppercut. Throw a jab. Instead, they just went like that. That was Arsenal. Like that. Okay, they're like, if you guys watched Dexter's Laboratory back in the day, they went like this. They were just like fighting like that. That's how Arsenal went out last night. But gotta give credit to Bayern. They showed up and actually put some respect on the badge. They put some respect on the badge. Because Bayern recently in the Champions League have went out in the quarterfinal, round of 16. This is their first semifinal since 2020 when they won it. So they finally showed up in a big Champions League night, and the players deserve credit, and Tuchel deserves credit because he did very well to nullify Arsenal. All right, if we keep Havertz quiet, then he cannot get link-up play with Saka or Martinelli. And again, Kane and Musiala were pretty quiet last night. They were pretty quiet. So when Musiala and Kane show up, Bayern have nobody's going to deny Bayern have talent on their team. Also, shout out to Mazraoui. I thought Mazraoui was the best player on the field last night. Mazraoui, link-up play, inverted Sora as a midfielder and from the left-back role, and he kept Saka quiet. Mazraoui, for me, was man of the match. Unbelievable performance from him. He's been dealing with so many injuries throughout the season. Mazraoui, hats off to him. I don't know if everybody agrees in the chat. Put a 1 if you agree, if you think Mazraoui was man of the match last night. He was unreal. Him and Kimmich. Kimmich is showing up at right back. Kimmich, no more DM for the rest of your career. You're right back now. You're right back, buddy. But yeah, disappointing night for Arsenal. They're out of the Champions League. And Bayern are now into the semi. Football is crazy, people. Football is crazy. Bayern Munich are into the Champions League semifinals, and they deserve it. You know, okay, in the first half of the game at the Emirates, they did struggle in the first 20 minutes, and everything could have probably been different if Ben White converted that chances. But that's the thing in the Champions League. You don't take your chances. You allow the opponents to grow into the game, and you're going to get punished. And that's exactly what happened to Arsenal. And then yesterday, I just don't think they didn't show up. They just didn't show up and kind of just accepted defeat. So, disappointing night. And I think Arsenal fans and the Premier League really got humbled. They really, really got humbled last night. And specifically Arsenal fans. Because we know people, they do talk. And you know what? They have some right to talk. Their team has been playing amazing football. But last night, they all went... and they're out. Let's get to some of your comments in the chat before we move on to the last game and Real Madrid advancing. Let's get to some of your comments because everybody's coming here with comments right now. Guerrero was good. Yep. Big up to Liquid. The blame the attackers. Bayern can't even beat. It's crazy. How do you can't even beat? Crazy this. Arsenal has a good midfield, but the defense and attack are just okay. I would say the defense is good, but the attack needs some bolstering. It needs some firepower there. It's just the history, Mike. Bayern always beat Arsenal. You can't crack the code. First 5-1, second 1. That's good, Spy. I like it. I like that equation. Arsenal have a better midfield and defense than Bayern. I would agree with that. Oh, yeah. You know what? One last thing about this game. Manuel Neuer, who I think is the GOAT goalkeeper of all time, now has the most clean sheets in Champions League history. Shout out to the GOAT goalkeeper of football. He is the GOAT, people. Whether you like it or not, you can put Casillas, you can put Van der Sar, you can put Peter Schmeichel, Yashin, Buffon, all those guys. Manuel Neuer is the GOAT goalkeeper. And now he has the most clean sheets in the Champions League history. Just not at the quality. They're just a well-drilled team, but not Champions League quality. The only thing close to X Factor is God. Arsenal are no better than Spurs in big games. Eesh. One's the red, the other's white. They are based in North London. Same with the club Derby County and their foes, Nottingham Forest. Oh my God. Respect to Nottingham Forest. They got 2 Champions Leagues. People need to realize Madrid, LFC, Bayern, Chelsea are clubs that can be dead food in the league, but in Europe, they can hit a switch and win it. They can do it. Arsenal are short. 9 goalie and 2 fullbacks. Stop with the center backs as fullbacks. Agreed. Michael Bayern were also robbed of a penalty. True. In the first leg. Yeah, Guerrero's assist was insane. A real quality team, even though they are inexperienced in Champions League, would have taken a lot of lessons from the Porto game. Yeah, Mazraoui was fantastic last night. Oh my God, Mazraoui was quality. Tuchel deserves credit in the Champions League. 1 Champions League title with an okay at best Chelsea team. Takes PSG to their only UCL final. And now in the semifinals this season. Yes, in the league, not so good. Yeah, look, we got to give credit. And we'll definitely give credit to Tuchel because I've been his biggest hater this season. The man just knows Champions League football. He's like the players. When he hears that anthem, he's ready. He's ready for a fight. And Tuchel, every time that Champions League anthem hits, he's ready. And he did amazing. I don't know. Did I, Jeff? Premier League is very overrated, especially Bismarcky. That's why we don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. I'm sorry, man. Just don't listen to Premier League pundits. He doesn't give me hope on the sidelines. Yes, they did, Patricio. They got a little bit too cocky. Ahmed saying here, Bayern versus Dortmund final. I see it because everyone is saying, well, we're gonna get to the semifinal preview. Don't worry, people. Don't worry. Honestly, the old European Cup was a weak competition compared to today, with only Champions League champions permitted to compete. Encore, man. Don't do that. Don't do that to him. Yes, Neuer is the put a 1 if you agree. Is Manuel Neuer the GOAT goalkeeper? I'm sorry, man. The guy is still phenomenal. At 37 years old, he is the definite. He brought the idea of a sweeper keeper, and he's a ridiculous shot stopper. Manuel Neuer, for me, is everybody can have. It's a very subjective debate. You know, you're going to look at Casillas, you're going to look at Van der Sar, Peter Schmeichel, all those guys. Manuel Neuer is just simply a god. He's a god. He's unbelievable. And if he wins another Champions League, what do we say then? What do we say then? But of course, honesty, Buffon. But honesty, where's Buffon's Champions League? We move. Can't compare present with past. It's difficult. I did see some Yashin highlights the other day. The guy was unreal. That guy was making some ridiculous saves. All right, people, let's get to the last game that happened yesterday, and we're on 36 likes. We can get up to 50 likes, people. Real Madrid do it. They do it. It was, shall we say, old school Italian football. Defend for your life and get the win. And that's what exactly Ancelotti did. It wasn't pretty from Real Madrid. Let's keep it honest here, people. With all 46 of you in the chat, Real Madrid just went super defensive. They got the goal. Beautiful. Bellingham, I thought had a great game. I thought he was, for being sort of a false striker and basically having to hold up play, I thought Bellingham was amazing. Did you see the touch he did? The ball in the air. Oh, it was just perfectly weighted. Little touch. Boom. Get it out wide to Valverde. Valverde crosses. Rodrigo, saved by Edison. He gets the rebound. I mean, poor defending from Kyle Walker's perspective. Really poor from Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker was struggling big time for that first, was it 20 minutes, 25 minutes on the ball? Madrid just kept pressing him, and he kept kind of losing the ball most times. But after that, it was, just a one-way highway. It was one-way traffic it looked like traffic from Mumbai. That was what Man City were doing. They were just throwing the Mumbai traffic straight at Real Madrid. Somehow Real Madrid just hanged on, but they defended very well. They allowed them, Madrid just allowed them possession, and then when it got to the edge of their box, they didn't allow anything. They just said, all right, cool. Do what you want. You can do your side to side, side to side, side to side, like it's a ride at Disney. But when you get around that edge of the box, we're going to defend. And Madrid, the players suffered, and their cardio is they got nothing left in the tank. And they got El Clasico this weekend. They got nothing left in the tank. You saw Bellingham in the last 10 minutes of extra time. He had nothing left. Man City didn't create a lot of great chances before they got the goal. Then, obviously, Antonio makes the mistake, falls to the path of KDB. He gets the goal. But that KDB chance with about 5 minutes to go, I mean, how he misses. How he doesn't even... It is 8 yards out from the goal. KDB, that is absolute pancake breakfast. And he effed it up. Instead of putting syrup, he put Marmite on the pancakes. I have no clue how. I was watching with my friend. I'm like, did he just miss that? Seriously. KDB of all players. No, I seriously missed it. It was terrible from him. But Man City didn't create a lot of great opportunities where it's like, oh my God, Lunin, what a save by Lunin. Again, Lunin. No, it was a bit like half chances. They were moving the ball well. Then it gets to extra time. Real Madrid had a really good chance with Rudiger. Man City, they had Foden who was open. I don't think Man City played decent. It wasn't their best game. I felt like they could have created much better opportunities because Real Madrid, they just defended in their own box. And they just said, hey, Man City, if you're going to score, it's going to be a ridiculous goal. Where we're going to applaud you and say, que golazo. Man City didn't take a lot of opportunities outside the box, and Real Madrid hanged on. They hanged on. Haaland got subbed off in the 90th minute, which is crazy to me. Apparently, Pep said that he asked to be subbed off. Now, if that is true, that is a ridiculous thing from Haaland. In a game where you have to win, you're asking to be subbed off in the 90th minute? You got to suffer with your teammates. Suffer. You have to go through the adversity. Got to go through the pain to get to the glory. And he ducked out. If that is the case, we have no clue what the communication was. And KDB as well. KDB, even though I'm not going to really blame KDB, because I thought he actually had a decent game, driving with the ball, finding good passes, good crosses. He has to be subbed off, apparently, as well. Come on, guys. Come on, man. But he got the goal, so I can't complain. Then we get to the penalties. Modric, miss. Bernardo Silva with one of the... I just saw Budimir have one of the worst penalties ever. Bernardo Silva said, hold my beer. That was horrendous from... I don't know what Bernardo Silva was doing. It wasn't even a panenka. He just kind of... I don't know how Lunin thought to himself, yeah, he's just going to go down the middle and it's going to be a weak shot. That was fantastic from Lunin to read it. But Bernardo Silva, pick a corner. This is why I always think with... Yes, it's a high-pressure moment. I've never felt that sort of pressure taking a penalty. Just pick a corner and hit it. Just hit it as hard as you can. Terrible from Bernardo Silva's perspective. Kovacic missed. Funny how both Croatians missed it. And then they were just ice-cold penalties from Real Madrid. Somebody did say that before the penalty shootout, Edison had never saved a penalty. Is that true or not, people? That he's never saved a penalty? Well, he saved one, and then the rest, Real Madrid, ice-cold, baby. Heritage. They didn't feel the pressure. They just said, we've suffered for 120 minutes. We're not losing this game. We're not losing this game. When Vasquez's penalty, ice-cold, man was just juggling. He looked really comfortable. When Nacho stepped up, I was like, okay, he's going to miss. Then Nacho put it right in the corner. And the last penalty, I thought it was going to be Brahim Diaz, Valverde. It was Antonio Rudiger who stepped up and scored the winning penalty. Of all players, it was Antonio. Really, really weird. And Real Madrid do it. Even though they didn't beat City, so City's unbeaten record at the Etihad still stands in the Champions League. They haven't lost in 6 years in the Champions League at the Etihad. Real Madrid are off to the semifinal in the most defensive way possible. But hey, sometimes you got to suffer to get to the top. If you own a business, you're going to go through your hard times where you're not making a lot of money. But at the end, you see all the money. And then you're bathing in the money. That's Real Madrid. They suffered and they won the game. That was on Man City. Man City, See, Rodri's talking about, oh yeah, the better team lost today. Do something with the ball. That's why, for me, possession is the most meaningless stat. Yes, you can keep possession 70% of the time. What do you do with the possession? You can't just say, oh, because we went side to side, like we're a boomerang. No, create something. Yeah, Man City created their opportunities, but Real Madrid just said, yeah, after we score that goal, we're just chilling. We're just going to chill here like it's Copacabana and defend for our lives. I'm not really going to blame Man City. It's penalties. What can you do about it, people? What can you do? They didn't go out in embarrassing fashion like they have in the past to Spurs, to Lyon, to Monaco. They didn't go out that way. They went to penalties, and penalties are 50-50. And unfortunately, Lunin stepped up. I'm telling you, if it was Kepa in goal, Man City are winning that penalty shootout. There is no way Kepa is saving any of those penalties because he's horrendous at it. Lunin is coming up clutch, and is Luna going to be the sort of unsung hero for Real Madrid and winning this Champions League? Because Courtois is not playing anymore this season. Would it be some story for Andre Lunin? But yeah, I mean, is people really going to blame Man City? Are you really going to say, oh yeah, Man City, hold that? It's penalty shootout, people. At least they put in effort and they created chances, unlike Arsenal. Arsenal went out pretty bad. Real Madrid, we know what team they are. And Man City, unfortunately, they are out of the Champions League. There is no more Premier League teams. Got to give massive credit to Antonio. Antonio and Nacho, wow. Those two center backs did an absolute job yesterday. Same thing with Bellingham. Bellingham was just all over the field trying to hold up play. Valverde, man, I don't know where this guy gets the energy. Where does he have the stamina? Please, we need to do, what is it called? Autopsy. We need to do an autopsy on Valverde. How does he have all of the energy? How? I don't get it. Federico Valverde, it's the mate. Mate is the secret sauce. You know, Saka has the Nando's peri peri sauce. Valverde's got the mate sauce. And that mate sauce is undefeated. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat as Real Madrid advance to another Champions League semi-final. They do it, man. They did it. They got Patricio, Lucas Vasquez, hella cold, juggling the ball before scoring the pen. That was pretty cold, man. That was actually, I think that just kind of calmed him down. It calmed him down. People say Bellingham has no technique. Yeah, YG, they're stupid, bro. Watch that game yesterday. Please, just, if you're going to rewatch the game and watch Bellingham. I'm not saying Bellingham was, oh my God, an outstanding performance like Zidane against Brazil in 2006. No. But Bellingham was influential for how Madrid scored the goal and were able to hold up play and actually create some opportunities. Then I will talk about that in the England preview. Madrid frustrated City when City thought there was space, was Camavinga, Valverde, and even Vinny Jr. Clearly, Ancelotti learned his mistakes from last season when they got dunked on 4-0. Clearly, he learned, and that's Real Madrid adapted, and they learned from their mistakes and put in a defensive masterclass. They did. If Walker played Liverpool, he'd clear that. True. Pep's obsession with clocking up 1,000 passes per game is puzzling. No, look, man, not just Pep. You got to accept the people. Pep just wants to pass. KDB and Haaland both asked to be subbed off. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, 7.5 is ridiculous here. In a game like this, Man City needs someone to curl Beckham-style cross into the box and get Haaland to shove defenders. Haaland had about, 3 or 4 headers in the first half. Remember, he hit the crossbar for one of them. He hit the crossbar. So it wasn't too bad from Haaland, I thought, but the second half, he was a ghost out there. Before the Bernardo penalty, a City fan from the stands didn't do any favors. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, actually. I forgot about that. I heard they showed their Champions League trophy during the game. Oh, really? Man City did. Interesting. Is Kepa worse than Sanchez and Petkovic? Yes. Kepa is horrible. Lunin has saved 10 out of 26 penalties in his career. What? Lunin is ridiculous. England's best player doesn't play in the Premier League. Nope. Jude Bellingham did not play well. Yes, he did, Ibrahim. Come on, bro. Ibrahim, come on, bro. Yeah, I think people now are obsessed with Bellingham getting a goal or an assist. He doesn't need to get a goal and assist. Yeah, okay, he lost the ball sometimes while holding up. He was 1 against 3 at times. Because nobody from Real Madrid was making a run. Nobody. Come on. Put a 1 if you agree, if you think Bellingham played a good game. I thought he actually played a really good game. Years ago, there was the Chelsea Barca final. Chelsea couldn't cross halfway line. Barca missed dozens of goals, but Chelsea won the cup. Yesterday's match was just like that. Sometimes the good teams, they just got to suffer. You got to suffer. Foden can't play as a right winger. Yeah, I would agree with that. Unless you have a injury, asking to get subbed off is basically ridiculous. Yep. Hey, Mods, did we? Yep. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Bellingham did the dirty work in the midfield. No, exactly. I thought he was really good, man. I really thought he was good. For me, Kamavinga was man of the match. Yeah, can see that. People called Foden world class in the first leg. Then he know he was lost. See, this is the issue. People just love throwing the word world class around. They just love it, man. They love it. Oh, this guy's world class. See, I could have said the same thing for Kvara last year. He was playing at a world class level. Same for Osimhen. But no, they gotta prove. They have to be consistently performing at the highest level against the elite of the elite. Foden did it for one game. Foden yesterday, I thought for 70 minutes was pretty quiet again. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Should have. Yeah, he was a monster, bro. Absolute monster, Antonio. Remember, Antonio Rudiger did not play that second leg last year. It was all Alaba and Nacho. Carlo learned his mistake. He learned his mistake. But there's the review for the 4 games, people. And now, now we have our semifinal. We have our semifinal matchups. Remember, everybody, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're not even on 40 likes. I mean, just disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. Remember to download SofaScore. You see that QR code? You guys scan it. Because tonight is Thursday Night Football with the Conference League and the Europa League. So if you want to keep up with all the action going on, you can look at the stats, players, all the lineups. Remember to download SofaScore. Link is in the description down below. As now is the semifinals of the champions. They begin not next week, the following week. The following week. What's everybody's initial thoughts with these semifinals? What's everybody's initial thoughts? I mean, obviously, first thing is there's no Premier League teams. They're all out. Everybody's won a Champions League except for PSG. They're the only ones who haven't won a Champions League. Dortmund have won. We know Real Madrid got it. We know Bayern got it. So is this time now for PSG to join the VIP club? We're gonna open the gate. PSG, come through and join the winners club. Is it gonna happen for PSG, or are Dortmund somehow gonna win this Champions League at the ground where they felt the heartbreak in 2013 with Terzic as manager? Doing it for Marco Reus. Mats Hummels one last time getting the chip. Are Dortmund going to do it? What about Bayern Munich? Been a very chaotic season for Hollywood FC. Tuchel's going to leave at the end of the season. Kane, can he win his first ever trophy? Can Bayern win their first Champions League since 2020? And with sort of a very different team compared to then. Or are Real Madrid going to get numero 15? Are they going to get 15, people? Number 15 for the greatest club in the world. So, the first tie I'm going to talk about is Dortmund and PSG. Everybody get your thoughts in the chat. And if you're watching a replay, I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you think is going to advance between these two teams? We know both teams are familiar with each other. They were in the group of death. Dortmund lost 2-0 away at Paris. And then it was a 1-1 draw back in Dortmund. But I feel like Dortmund have grown into this season. They're looking a little bit stronger attacking-wise. I think that's because of the addition of Sancho and Motsen to the team. That, I think, helped a lot. The key for Dortmund is they got to get Donyell Malen fit. I think Donyell Malen with Sancho instead of Adeyemi, that's going to be a good option. Haller coming back from fitness, being a super sub, that is good because, yes, Füllkrug scored an amazing goal. Füllkrug in that first leg was not great against Atleti. Second leg, he showed up. Haller, we saw, comes off the bench, instant impact, gets you a goal. So I think for Dortmund, they're growing into this season. They're looking like a strong team. Where I would be worried for Dortmund is defensively, they still do not look good and convincing. But you know what? It's something that I've come to accustom with this Dortmund side. They're just not great defensively. They're going to have to outscore PSG. But with the play of Mats Hummels, don't like everybody can diss Mats Hummels in the Bundesliga. Yeah, maybe sometimes he doesn't have a great game. Champions League this season, Mats Hummels is in the team of the season for the Champions League. No doubt about it. He's going to have to keep Barcola, Mbappe, Dembele quiet. Can the two fullbacks, Ryerson and Matson, keep the two wingers for PSG quiet? Because that's going to be the key here for Dortmund to win this tie at advance. And remember, the first leg is in Dortmund. The second leg is at the Parc des Princes. Yeah, Parc des Princes. So Dortmund, I think they should feel confident. It's not the worst opponent. They're familiar with each other. Yeah, Dortmund did not play a great game in that first home game against Paris, where they lost 2-0. I think Dortmund just tactically got it all wrong, and a lot of their players look kind of shell-shocked. This season, the Champions League, they're growing into it. They're looking like a mature team. And now they go up against PSG. For PSG, I will say this. They're not keeping a clean sheet in either game. They're not going to keep a clean sheet. But I don't think they care. They just know they got the firepower with Barcola, with Mbappe, with Dembele. They're looking strong in those aspects. Midfield starting to click now with Vitinha, Zaire Emery, and Fabian Ruiz. But when you look at the two midfields for Dortmund and PSG, I would kind of say they're 50-50. Emre Can is good at the DM role. I really don't think Vitinha is a DM, but Luis Enrique is persisting with it, so fair enough. And Julian Brandt has to start. He's going to start. But if Terzic somehow wakes up on the day, has a massive hangover, smokes a cigarette, and thinks to himself, yeah, let's put Kimmich back at 10, it's not going to work. So don't do it, Terzic. Keep playing Julian Brandt. And Sabitzer, if Sabitzer can have a similar performance to what he had against Atleti, then this midfield battle is going to be awesome to watch. So for PSG, I think they got confidence now. They can understand. If we go away to Dortmund, get a draw, take it back to Paris, we're in a good position. That's going to be, I think, the mindset for PSG. Not win the game. Just go there, get a draw, boom. Take it back home. And then that crowd in the second leg in Paris is going to be wild. It is going to be wild with the crazy tifos and pyro. It's going to be awesome to see both of these crowds, amazing atmospheres, especially in Dortmund as well with the yellow wall and 80,000 people. So it is a fascinating tie. It really is. Because is it 50-50? I would say so. I think both teams, they've had their ups and downs this season, especially Dortmund. More PSG. Yeah, look, Ligue 1 is not going to be a contest. It's not. But in the Champions League, they have faced adversity, especially away from home. But at home, they just lost to Barcelona. So anything is possible. I would lean towards PSG just because they got the second leg at home. But Dortmund just got something about them this season in the Champions League. I can't put a finger on it. They got something going. It reminds me of Chelsea 2012. It really does. But Mbappe could be the difference maker. He did not play well against Barcelona. Barcelona just tactically knew how to nullify him. He's going up against Hummels, Schlotterbeck, Ryerson, and Matson. That's not Araujo. That's not Kubarsi. That's not Koundé. So Mbappe needs to have an influential performance in both legs for PSG to win this tie. He's going to have to be the main guy. He can't just be, all right, I'll just stand at the back. Okay, Dembele, you do your thing. Okay, Barcola, do your thing. Mbappe must be the main reason and the main guy for PSG to advance to the final at Wembley. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And let me know your thoughts in the chat. Who is advancing? Dortmund or PSG to Wembley? As we get to the next game. Ooh! Heritage. Now this is heritage. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Oh, they have played some amazing ties in the 21st century. Amazing ties. 2018, 2017 with the controversy. Oh, I cannot wait for Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. It is going to be electric. Stars on the field, individual quality. For Bayern Munich and Tuchel, one of the more weirder seasons for Hollywood FC. Tuchel's going to leave. He's already announced it. They've lost the Bundesliga. They lost the DFB Pokal. So basically, this is it. This is everything for them. They go out, nothing. Nothing this season, which would be their first trophyless season since 2012. Yes, I think 2012. That would be their first trophyless season. So for Bayern Munich, are they just going to stick with Dyer and De Ligt? I think that's what Tuchel's going to do. Now, Alphonso Davies, if he does come back into the starting lineup, this guy needs to step up his performances. I'm sorry. He might be going up against his future club that he's going to play for. Davies, you got to step up with the performances. You can't just be okayish on the ball, okayish defensively. You got to be on point going up against Rodrigo, going up against Vini. Same thing on the right side. Kimmich. Kimmich has dealt well, I think, since being a right back, but now you're going up against Vini. Like, that's a whole different task to go up against. And can the midfield of Konrad Laimer and Goretzka, if that's what Tuchel's going to go with, unless Pavlovic comes into the starting 11, sustain their performances. Because, during the games against Arsenal, Laimer and Goretzka stepped up. Goretzka making last-ditch tackles really well. Konrad Laimer progressing with the ball. But now you're going up against Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouameni, Toni Kroos, Modric. Like, you're going up against some all-timers. All-timers. So it's going to be difficult for Bayern. And how is Tuchel going to tactically prepare for that situation? Is he going to be super defensive, or is he going to take the game to Real Madrid? But the main thing, and that's a good thing for Bayern, their attack can score goals. Harry Kane was quiet against Arsenal in Munich. Musiala, I don't think he had his best game over the two games. He's going to have a massive game. And he's going to have a massive game for Bayern. The left side, I don't know what Tuchel's going to do. If I was Tuchel, I would play Matthias Tell. But he's not going to do it. Is he going to persist with Guerrero? Or I don't think Gnabry is going to be fit for it. I'll have to recheck it after the stream. But if Gnabry will be fit, even I think he might be missing a couple weeks. So it's probably going to be Guerrero and Leroy. Just keep cooking. Whatever you're eating at home, keep eating it. Whatever it is. Strawberries, blueberries, avocado toast. Keep doing the same thing. Because Leroy was really good in those two games against Arsenal. Really good. And Kane, this is your moment, buddy. This is your moment. You can keep all of those people who say, not a big game player, can't show up when it's needed. This is where you need to show up, Kane. If you can get a couple goals against Real Madrid and help Bayern to get to the final, finally, a lot of people will shut up and give this guy the credit he deserves. Because Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world. He is. Top two. But now, you got to show up. This is your chance, Harry. If you want to get to that status of people respecting you and you finally win your first trophy, this is the moment. And what about Real Madrid? Well, I don't think Real Madrid have looked the most convincing in the knockout stage, but we've said that before, haven't we? 2022. They weren't the best side in 2022. No, they weren't. But they won the Champions League. Did they get outplayed by RB Leipzig? Yeah, they did. Did they get outplayed by Manchester City and Manchester? Yeah, they did. But it don't matter because that's Real Madrid. They just do it. Doesn't matter. Oh, it's not going to say, they defensively were great and they didn't really attack in the Champions League. No, it's not going to say that on Wikipedia. It's going to say Real Madrid won the Champions League in 2022. And yeah, this season, the Champions League, especially in the knockout stage, Real Madrid have not been the best side. But they have experience and they have the players who can make a difference. That's what Real Madrid have. From Bellingham to Vini to Rodrigo to Valverde to Toni Kroos to Modric to come up. They got so many individual players who can make a difference. Even Brahim Diaz off the bench. And Real Madrid defensively have been pretty good for majority of this season. Yeah, against Man City, they gave up those 3 goals. 2 of those goals were golazos from Foden and Guivardio, and then obviously Lunin should have done better with Bernardo Silva free kick. Real Madrid, they're going to give up chances. Bayern, they're going to give up chances. So it's going to come down to the attackers. Who will be clinical? Can Vini step up again in a big Champions League game? What about Rodrigo? This man loves a Champions League goal. Loves it. And Bellingham? Maybe Bellingham can be that guy. Oh, this is going to be fantastic, people. Oh, I cannot wait. I feel like there's going to be a lot of goals between Bayern and Real Madrid. I just have that funky feeling. I'm going to lean towards Real Madrid just because they have the second leg at home. But we have seen in the past between these two teams, you can never guarantee anything. You cannot. And there's going to be some madness, some chaotic. Oh, Bayern versus Real Madrid is what you call a classic UCL tie. And for me, I'm leaning towards Real Madrid. Oh, man. But see, the problem with these semifinals, PSG, Real Madrid, is too obvious. It's too obvious. Mbappe versus Real Madrid against his future club. It's too obvious. We never get the final that is too obvious. So you know what? I have this strange feeling that we're going to get Dortmund versus Bayern again at Wembley. I don't know why. I feel like both teams have gone through a lot of adversity. The managers have been questioned a lot this season, but they're just going to put their performances and put everything on the line in the Champions League, and they're going to both advance. And then in the final, well, we'll discuss about that when it gets to the final. But I think it's going to be Dortmund versus Bayern. I don't know why. This could be a great year for German football, and it might continue. Leverkusen finally win the league. They could go unbeaten, and then we could get a Dortmund Bayern Munich Champions League final, and Germany could win the Euros at home. Or am I just being too crazy with this storyline? Too crazy. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to be playing in the final at Wembley? And everybody in the chat, I want to hear your thoughts in the chat right now. Who is going to be playing at Wembley? Is it going to be Dortmund, Real Madrid, Dortmund, Bayern? Is it going to be PSG, Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid? I want to hear your thoughts in the chat right now as I'm going to leave in the next 5 minutes. Big up to 10 Dime for your chat, super chat earlier in the stream, buddy. Really appreciate it. We've hit 43 likes. Fantastic. If we can get to 50 likes, that would be even better. Even better. The opening ceremony with Dortmund and Bayern. That was insane. PSG Madrid, Dortmund Madrid. I like it, people. I like it. I like what people are thinking here. Dortmund Madrid. I have little faith in Bayern and Dortmund, though. I mean, can you trust? You can't trust three of these teams. You can't trust Dortmund. You can't trust PSG. You can't trust Bayern. The only team you can trust is Real Madrid, just because of the ultimate heritage. That's the only one you can trust. PSG treble is on. It's their best chance. It is. I think this is their best chance to win the Champions League, PSG. And it's funny. As soon as Mbappe and Messi leave and they go away from that sort of superstar motto, they could do it. They could do it, PSG. Why not? Of course. Bayern versus Dortmund final. Kane first trophy or Royce narrative. Bro. Oh, Ahmed, bro. No. Oh, my God. Oh, that would be great. Borussia, Real Madrid, PSG, Real, Mbappe brace. Amen to that, Michael. Amen, brother. I'm still tempted by Kane and Bayern. I think so. Encore. I think that's where that game is gonna. Both of these ties, it's really gonna come down to moments and individual quality. We know. We could say, yeah, PSG are maybe the better team than Dortmund. Yes, we could say maybe Real Madrid are the better team than Bayern. But Dortmund and Bayern just have those sort of periods within the game where they just have that individual brilliance and they can just make a difference. Both of those teams possess it. So you cannot count them out. And as we saw in the quarterfinals, momentum. That's how you win this Champions League. That's how you do it. What would your message be to people who overestimate PSG? What would I say? The Dortmund are a good side. They've proven it. Oh, that is true, you know. Oh my God. I totally forgot about the Bellingham thing. I totally forgot about that. Totally forgot about it. Yes, exactly, Ahmed. They would have the if that it would be the final, Dortmund gotta have some confidence. They just beat Bayern Munich in Bayern. I'm sorry, in Munich. So if you're Dortmund, this is a fantastic opportunity as well. This is it. I don't know why people always count out Real Madrid, but it's Champions League tax, bro. Outlaw. This is Real Madrid. You could never count them out. Never. Never, ever, 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 ever count them out. Well, we will find out, Vin. All right, everybody. Well, that is the Champions League review, semifinal previews. It's going to be a madness, people. Cannot wait. And it's in a week and a half. Oh, I cannot wait for it. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below if you're watching a replay. What do you make of the Champions League quarterfinals? And who do you think is going to be playing in the final at Wembley? Remember to check out SofaScore. Remember to download the link in the description down below or scan the QR code in the bottom left corner. And also remember to check out the previews I've been doing for the Copa America and the Euros. You can see them in the pre-recorded videos and also with the shorts. Remember, guys, support the channel. Most important thing is you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and you have the notification bell on so you know in case we have an emergency stream or if I uploaded videos, you guys know when Michael Talks Facts, Michael Talks Facts has uploaded. Everybody, have a beautiful day. Big up to 10 Dime for his super chat earlier. What a week. What a Champions League. We're in for some madness. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.